In 1998, a family in Bellwether, Ohio, called police because their hallway had disappeared. Not a person. Not a door. The hallway. The call came in at 3:12 in the morning. The dispatcher thought it was a prank until she heard a child whisper, "Mom, the bathroom is gone." The Mercer family had moved into the house 2 weeks earlier. It was cheap, clean, and strangely untouched, like no one had ever lived there long enough to leave a mark. The landlord said the house had no major repairs, no deaths, and no problems. But here's the first contradiction. Every bedroom door had a lock on the outside. The family noticed it on the first night. The father joked it was probably from an old renovation. Nobody laughed the second time. At 2:40 a.m., their youngest son woke up crying. He said his closet door had opened by itself, but that was not the strange part. The closet was supposed to be 3 feet deep. That night, the father shined a flashlight inside and the beam never reached the back wall. They shut the door, pushed a dresser in front of it, and told themselves old houses make old house noises. But by morning, the dresser was across the room. They blamed sleepwalking. They blamed uneven floors. They blamed anything that allowed them to stay another night. On the second night, the upstairs bathroom moved. Not the objects inside it. The entire room. At bedtime, the bathroom was at the end of the hall. At 3 a.m., the door opened into a linen closet. The mother drew a floor plan on a notebook page. By morning, the drawing no longer matched the house. Then they found something behind the wallpaper. A child's drawing of the exact same floor plan, dated 1976. The drawing showed rooms the Mercers had never seen. A basement under the kitchen. A narrow stairwell behind the pantry. And one room labeled only, sleep room. There was no basement under the kitchen. At least, not during the day. That night, they decided not to sleep. They kept every light on and placed a camcorder at the top of the stairs. For 3 hours, nothing happened. Then the hallway light flickered once, and the camera went slightly out of focus. The video showed the wallpaper swelling inward and outward, slowly, like something behind it was taking its first breath. A bedroom door slid 6 inches to the left without opening. The frame moved with it. The wall simply made room. The father stopped the tape there. Not because he was scared, but because his son's bedroom door was now missing from the hall. They could hear him crying through the wall. His voice was close, but every time they touched the plaster, it came from somewhere else. The mother told him to knock once if he could hear her. One knock came from behind the wall. Then another came from beneath the floor. That was when they understood. The house was not randomly changing. It was copying where they searched. When they ran to the kitchen, the crying moved there. When they ran upstairs, it moved above them. The house was teaching them to chase. At 4:06 a.m., the pantry door opened by itself. Behind it was a stairwell that had not existed an hour earlier. They went down because parents do impossible things when their child is calling. But the voice waiting below was no longer crying. It was repeating every sentence the family had said since moving in. Their jokes. Their arguments. Their prayers. The father found dozens of cassette tapes stacked along the basement wall. None had labels, except one, Mercer, Week 1. That tape should not have existed. They had only been inside the house for 6 days. At the end of the basement was a white door. It had no handle. Only scratches at child height. The mother heard her son behind it. The father heard his own voice behind it, calmly saying, "Go back upstairs." Then the cassette player clicked on by itself. A stranger's voice from 1976 whispered, "Do not let the house know your names." The Mercers had written their names on moving boxes in every room. The house did not just know where they slept. It knew who belonged where. The white door opened 1 inch. Their son's hand reached out. But behind him, the room looked exactly like their upstairs hallway. The father pulled him through. For 1 second, everyone was together. Then the basement stairs disappeared. They were trapped below their own house, inside a floor that did not exist on any blueprint. Upstairs, the camcorder kept filming the empty hallway. At 5:11 a.m., The missing bedroom door returned. When police arrived, they found the family sitting at the kitchen table. Calm. Silent. Barefoot. None of them would answer questions. Not until an officer asked the youngest boy what happened downstairs. The boy looked at the wall and said, "That was not downstairs. That was where the house keeps people." Police removed the camcorder and reviewed the tape. The final minutes showed the hallway perfectly still. But if you watch the back wall closely, you can see 4 shadows standing behind it. They were not in the hallway. They were inside the wall. The landlord claimed the family broke the lease and left town. But school records show the youngest Mercer attended class the next Monday. His teacher said he stopped using people's names. When asked why, he said, "Because houses listen better when you feed them names." The Mercer rental was never demolished. It was remodeled, repainted, and listed again 12 years later. The listing had one strange note at the bottom: "Do not label bedroom boxes until after move-in." So if you ever move into a house and find locks on the outside of the bedroom doors, ask one question before you unpack. Who was the house trying to keep in? Comment part 2 if you want the case file on the family who moved in after the Mercers.